Yo, what's happening, yo? It's your man Valentine, baby. Coming to you from on the grind. Man, you know what time it is, man. It's the home edition, baby, home style. And can you see what I'm talking about? This is what I'm gonna give you every single time it's sunny. You know what I mean? And this is what we like to see. Yeah, buddy. But now listen here, look here. It's Monday. You know what I mean? It's Monday. And there's just all sorts of craziness happening, man. I mean, people protesting because they don't want to wear a mask that saves people's lives. You know? And I for one just don't get it. And tomorrow I'm gonna let you know how it goes because I want to be testing it out with a mask on while you're doing exercise, because people keep thinking that this mask inhibits you or shuts off the oxygen levels to your that you can't breathe, when it's been tested that there is no such thing. But anyway, I mean, it's another story, man. We still got this craziness that's going on, this pandemic, and also the pandemic of racism, man. I don't know what's been happening in Portland. They still protesting, but I think sometimes this protest is going overboard to certain people. When you breaking up stores and you looting, that ain't a protest. You know what I mean? That ain't a peaceful protest. You feel me? So I can't understand that one either. You know, people spitting on people because, I mean, the dude has he's a white dude with an Asian girlfriend. The man spits on him. I mean, that's just dumb. Come on, man. This is why racism still exists. Is because idiots like that, or just ignorant folks like that, just continue to just show their true colors, man. You feel me? Anyway, we gotta stop that, man. The nonsense has to stop. But in 1980 or 81, so when my sister went to school, and we were talking, and she just all of a sudden says, Valentine, don't you remember that we had slave days in Gladstone? And I looked at her and I was like dumbfounded, because I was like, I don't remember that. I don't remember ever going through that. And I'm still trying to remember if we did, because I don't remember. And this is why, the sheer fact that if we had teachers that knew what they were teaching or what they were doing, this stuff wouldn't have happened. So the sheer fact that we need to have educators who are educating us on socioeconomic disparity, social profiling, racial profiling by the police brutality, systemic racism, institutionalized racism. If we had teachers in our education system that would be teaching us all this, we would not have any of that happening. And I was so dumbfounded that I don't even remember it happening, because I'm still stunned, because she says, yeah, we had to do this for the entire day. And I'm like, how is it that the teachers are not going to stop this? You see what I'm saying? So, man, Rob Fleming, you see what I'm talking about, right? This is why you need to get educators of black descent and indigenous descent in the schools, and also putting black history and indigenous studies in schools from K to 12. Because if this was in schools when I was going to school, none of that stuff would have been prevalent. None of it would have happened because the teachers would have said, you know what? No, that's a problem because you know what? Slavery depicts hate. And that's what should have happened. Right from the principal all the way down. And whoever came up with the stupid idea. You see what I'm saying? So this is why you need to put this stuff in school. You need to get Black history in school. Indigenous studies in school. Because talking about this, I can't believe my sister even went through that. I'm upset about it. You feel what I'm saying? That irritated me when she told me that. Man, couldn't believe that, man. It's a bunch of crap that they let that happen. And I know they let it happen in the Fraser Valley too with that other school. And again, dumbfounded how in today's age that people can sit there and let something like this go on. Unfreaking believable, man. Unbelievable. But anyway, I know we had to move on from that one because I know it's just going to continue. Every day we're going to talk about the same thing. And hopefully there's some change. Man, I hope that I can get in touch with Mr. Rob Fleming or any type of educators or MLAs or my constituents in my neighborhood because I'll be calling them. I've already called Mr. Davies, but he ain't called me back yet. And I'll be calling Pete Fry, the city council. I'm going to be calling everybody. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be calling, hopefully, Jody Wilson-Raybould, man. I don't know. I'm going to call her too. And hopefully they get at me. You know what I mean? Because we need to change. We need to make things change. And again, Mr. Fleming, why you need to get certain things into schools? Because the gentleman, Mr. John Lewis, just passed away this weekend. 80 years old. And this gentleman was fighting cancer. And yet he was still out fighting for racial justice, man. To his last day, he was still out saying, you know what? We need to fight for freedom. And this man is 80 years old. And really, he's been through the wars. This man has been through, he was a champion of the civil rights movement, man. And I wish I had a chance to meet the dude. Because I'm not sure what I would ask him though, but it would be, what do you do? How did you continue? You know what I mean? That would be something I'd have to ask him. Because he has continued fighting for racial equality, socioeconomic disparities in the country. You know what I mean? Fighting for the right to vote in today's age. Still fighting for the same stuff that they were championed for back in the early 60s. You know what I mean? The man was the youngest to speak on the march in Washington. You know what I mean? One of the 6 freedom fighters. This man was arrested 44 times. You know what I mean? Had his skull cracked open on what they call today infamous the Bloody Sunday on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Alabama. You know what I mean? If y'all watch the show Selma, this man was one of the dudes who was on the ground. He was one of the first that was walking across the bridge that stood eye to eye with the police. Somebody else depicted him though, if you feel what I'm saying. But that was him. Man, you get your head beat open. You get your head cracked open, man. And yet you still continue to fight on. You know what I mean? And he was 33 years in office, in the House. 33 years, yo. You know what I mean? He was able to see a black president. the Congressional Medal of Honor. It's a sad time that this man has been fighting for half of his life for the freedom of black people and to end systemic racism. Unbelievable. This is what I'm saying. He's fought his whole life. And this is what I'm saying to Mr. Fleming, Education Minister, is why you need to put a gentleman like this. So in Black History Studies, where we can learn about this man. Because somehow you need to learn your history too. Because I, for one, know that nobody knew about this man until all this stuff started happening, until he either passed away or somebody said something to him about it. And that shouldn't happen. We should know about this man fighting for our freedom for the last 50, some odd 60 years of his life. You know what I mean? Before he passes away. So this is why I keep saying to you, you need to put Black history and indigenous studies in high schools, elementary schools, in whichever school. Because we need to learn about our history. We need to learn about people like John Lewis and C.T. Evans. Or, sorry, C.T. Vivian, who passed away as well. Because, and I know nobody knows who C.T. Vivian is. And you're going to have to look that up. Because this is why I'm saying we need to get our history taught to us. And indigenous studies, they need to get their history taught to them. And even their history taught to us as well, so we can both now learn about Black history and indigenous history. Because we need to continue this. We need to be able to teach the young cats coming up today. And it's irritating how hard it is to get this kind of studies into schools. Irritates me, man. I can't even believe this. We got to be fighting for, this man was fighting for freedom for over 50 some odd years. And yet we still fighting for our freedom now to get things done. So again, I tell you, Mr. Rob Fleming, you need to get at me so we can talk about what we need to do. I think I'm finished. It just, man, this upsets me, man. I'm gonna take a breath because I think I need to. I think now I'm done. But remember, we are still going through a pandemic. And for all you knuckleheads out there who feel that you don't want to wear a mask, you need to think about how many lives you can be saving. How you can save your family's life. You don't want to infect anyone in your family. You feel what I'm saying? So remember, young people, this doesn't just affect you. It affects every single person that you come in contact with, especially family. So don't be selfish. You feel what I'm saying? So do the right thing and wear a mask and social distance. Sanitize. Wash your hands when you get home. Do what you got to do to make sure everyone stays safe, including yourself. Yo, you know what time it is, man. I'm your man Valentine, baby. If you think it's your time to shine, you need to get on the grind with your man Valentine. Mr. Rob Fleming. Do what you need to do.